is our topic called coordinate geometry. Our coordinate geometry discusses about how we can determine a slope using coordinate geometry and using the points. But now, the second part now we need to discuss here. For first time we discussed how to locate the points. We did it, and it was simple because we learned when we were in primary. But now, the second part we discuss how to determine the slope or the gradient of the lines. Now, the third part here, it's all about discussing equations of a straight line. How can you determine an equation of a straight line? That's what we have to know. For a line whose gradient is m, remember we talked much about the gradient and we said m is an abbreviation for the gradient. And y-intercept c. It is equation, it seems to be y is equal to mx plus c. This is a form. In other words, we would have said that the form of the equation is written in this form. Means this is m, this is slope. And this c is called y-intercept. We are going to discuss the reason why is it called the y-intercept. But when you are determining an equation, you got to understand that this is a form that is supposed to be written like. Now y is equal to mx plus c. How this is determined? There are some of the process that we can learn through those things so we can obtain those things that we've been looking for. Now, if a straight line passes through two distinct points, imagine now there is x1, y1 and x2, y2. The equation of a straight line is given by, that is y minus y1 over x minus x1 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. How this is formed? Remember, if this is the formula that can be used to determine the equation of a straight line, definitely you have to know it is written changing y over changing x. That is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is equal now to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Now, using this equation, you can definitely determine the equation of a straight line. Now, remember, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, we say this is slope. Now, in the other way, we can say slope can be given is equal now to y minus y1 and x minus x1. Means what? If now you want to determine an equation of a straight line, the first thing that you need to do is to determine the slope. First of all, you determine the what? The slope. Now, after you have determined the slope of an equation, the slope of a straight line, now you come and apply this formula. Means slope is equal now to y minus y1 over x minus x1. In other words, remember slope is abbreviated by what? By m. It is where now is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. So this is the formula. Now it is where now you find it. We have said that an equation is written in this form. Y is equal to mx plus c. But y is here, and x is here, and m is here. But this y1 and x1 are the points that have been given from your question. So automatically this and this will go out because we will substitute the definite value that is supposed to be here. You got my point? Now, determine the equation. This is the formula. But all in all, first of all, you have to determine the slope of the equation. The slope of the straight line. After you have got the gradient of the straight line, what next is to use this formula so as you can determine an equation. And therefore, from here, I've written a diagram. Consider this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. If I may draw a straight line, this straight line will cut x-axis and will cut also y-axis. Now, the point where the line cuts the x-axis, that point is called the x-intercept. And the point where the line cuts y-axis, that point is called the y-intercept. And that is what I've written. No matter, even if I draw the other line here, but here, the line cuts the y-axis. Now this is called y-intercept. And here, the line cuts the x-axis. This is called the x-intercept. Now, in short, you would have said that where the line cuts where the line cuts the y-axis, that point is called y-intercept. And you can see y-intercept along this line, y there is a number, but x is equal to 0. Because no movement that you have made from the origin. And that's why we say x is equal to 0. Because you still have the origin point. Now, there is no movement that you have made from the original in the x-axis. And that's why we say y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to 0. And that is what I've written here. Now, the point at which line cuts the y-axis is called the y-intercept. And y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to 0. I can show. This means that along y-axis x is equal to 0. No matter if there is 5, there is 9, there is 10, there is 20, that's not a problem at all. But y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to 0. But when you move in this line, y is equal to 0 also, because you have not made any steps from the origin point. You are inserting the line. Now, in short, I would have said, this line, y is equal to 0. But this line, x is equal to 0. Now, when I say x is equal to 0, now I am moving along the y-axis. But when I say y is equal to 0, I am moving along the x-axis. So the definite point that you have to understand here, y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to 0. And the x-intercept is obtained when y is equal to 0. And that's what the definition of x-intercept and y-intercept. That is to say, the point at which line cuts the y-axis is the y-intercept. And it is obtained when x is equal to 0. So the point here you have to note, y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to 0. And the x-intercept is obtained when y is equal to 0. And that is to say, moving along the x-axis, y is equal to 0. And moving along the y-axis, that is x is equal to 0. Let us see an example. We have written here, find the equation of a straight line passing through the points of this one. Now we have first point. First point is 1, 2. And the second point is 3, 5. These are the points that we've been given. Now you may decide, this is the first point, this is the second point. Or this is the first point, and this is the second point. Now definitely that is the case. Now this is x1, this is y1. This is x2, this is y2. So you won't have an equation if you have not got the slope. You must first find the slope of the straight line. Now remember, slope, that is the m, now is equal now to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But now y2 is 5 and y1 is 2. Now over. Now x2 is 3 minus x1 is what? 1. Definitely that is the case now. We have 5 minus 2, which is equal to 3. Then here we have what? 2. Now our slope now, m, is equal now to 3 over 2. This is the slope that you have got. After we have got the slope, now remember the slope now, m, is equal to 3 over 2. This is what we have got. But our question is not to determine the slope of the straight line. It's to find the equation of a straight line. Now remember, we have the formula on how we can determine the equation. Now slope is equal now to y minus y1 over x minus x1. This is the formula definitely we can use to determine it. This is used only to determine an equation and not the slope. Hii inatumika tu kutafuta slope na equation. Na sio slope. Ya slope here, usichanganye mama. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, hii ndio ya slope. Lakini ya equation, baada ya kumepata slope, sasa ndio unatumia hii. Remember now you have everything. Now, already you have slope, which is equal to 3 over 2. Therefore, y is not there. Y is an unknown. y1 is 2. Now means you have taken those points. 1, 2. This is x1 and this is y1. Now, y1 is 2. Then over x minus x1 is what? 1. Then from there, it is the normal algebraic place for now. You cross multiplication. That is this and this one. Now you start. Make sure that you start with this one for you to make it easy. Don't definitely start with this one because it is the second part. Now, in order to follow the formation of the equation, it is better now you start with the number which I've got, y. Now, we have 2, then y minus 2 is equal now to 3, then x minus 1. Then you open in the bracket. Now, you definitely have 2y minus this and this one, it is 4. Then is equal, this and this one, 3x minus what? Minus 3. Now, make y as the subject of the formula. Means, you find the value of y. If now that is the case, this is taken to the other side. Now, you have 2y is equal now to 3x minus 3, then plus what? Plus 4. Now, these are like terms. If now these are like terms, now let us put it together. Now we have 2y is equal now to 3x. Negative 3 positive 4. Now we have positive 1. But now we are looking for the value of y. Now we better divide it by 2. You better divide it here by 2. You better divide it by 2. And therefore, y is equal now to 3x over 2 plus 1 over 2. Now, the equation now, y is equal to 3 over 2x, then plus 1 over 2. You can see our formation now for our equation is written in this form, mx plus c. Now remember, m is slope. Now it is light here. Now slope is equal to 3 over 2, and it is here. And this is y-intercept, 1 over 2. Now, you must like this is what we call it an equation of a straight line, because it is written in this form. Now, we can conclude by saying y is equal now to 3x over 2, then plus 1 over 2. This is the equation. After we have got the equation, this is an equation that we have got. So the question was all about find the equation of a straight line. But I just want to add something here. According to what we said here, y-intercept and x-intercept. If now your equation, y is equal to 3x over 2, then plus 1 over 2. Now, if now you say x-intercept is obtained when y is equal to what? To 0. Now, from this equation, y is equal now to 3x over 2 plus 1 over 2. Remember, y is equal to what? To 0. Means you substitute 0 where there is y. It is where now you say 0 is equal now to 3x over 2 plus 1 over 2. In short, you have negative 3x over 2 is equal to 1 over 2. Means I have taken this to the other side, and that's why it becomes negative 3x over 2. Now, you are looking for the value of x, because that is what we call it y-intercept. Now you find the value of x. If that is the case, now you multiply by 2 here, you multiply here by 2. Then you remain with negative 3x, because this and this will cancel. This and this will cancel. Is equal now to 1. Now we divide it by negative 3, we divide it by negative 3. Now x is equal to negative 1 over 3. This is the point that it is given. So this is what you would have said, x-intercept. Now we conclude by saying x-intercept is what? Is negative 1 over 3. But now, if now we've been told to find the y-intercept, remember, y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to what? To 0. Means where there is x in the equation, you substitute is what? 0. Now, from here, you have y is equal now to 3x over 2, then positive 1 over 2. If now you put here 0, now, y will be equal now to 1 over 2. And that's why we say this c is called y-intercept. Because if now you substitute here 0, y is equal to c. And that's why we say y is equal to mx plus c. And y is equal to c. If x is equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, now y is equal to what? To c. And that's why this c always is referred as y-intercept. So we refer this here as y-intercept because y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to 0. Definitely, if now you put here 0, no matter which bigger number you're talking about, definitely y will be equal to c. And that's why c is referred as the y-intercept. You got to understand that one. Are you together? Now in short, the x-intercept is obtained when y is equal to 0. You understand? Now, if I may write here points, if I may write a point here, I would have written that. Now, if y is equal to this one, then x is 0, then comma 1 over 2. If we may write a point here, that is to say, x is negative 1 over 3, then y is 0. This is the point that I would have obtained from there. Because y is 0, x is there. X is 0, y is there. The other example is here. Find the equation of a straight line, of a line whose gradient is negative 1 and y-intercept is negative 5. From the question, you definitely have gradient which is equal to negative 1. So you don't need to calculate for the gradient again. Tayari una gradient, una slope. Hauhitaji tena calculate gradient or slope. And also, from the equation, you have y-intercept. Y-intercept is equal to negative 5. Now, the issue here is to find y1 and x1. Where we obtain them? From here, y-intercept is obtained when x is equal to 0. Now, if now you have x1, then y1. Then y-intercept is negative 5. But y-intercept, according to the principle, is obtained when x is equal to what? 0. Now, x is 0 and y is negative 5. So these are the points that we have got. Now we have already a slope. Then we have got points from the y-intercept. It is now we can determine the equation. Remember, equation is determined by taking m is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. But m is equal to negative 1. And then is equal to y minus y1 is equal to negative 5 over now x minus x1 is 0. Then we put this negative 1 over 1. Why? So as we can cross multiply. Now definitely negative times negative is what? Positive. Now we have y positive 5 is equal now. It is nothing because if now we multiply by 1, it remains as it is. Is equal now to negative 1 in bracket x minus what? Minus 0. Therefore we have 1, y is plus 5 is equal negative times x, we get negative x. Now negative times negative, we get positive what? 0. This is taken to the other side. Then we have y is equal now to negative x, then negative 5. Now this is the equation. And then you can even compare. From y is equal now to mx plus what? Plus c. We said c is y-intercept. And that's why c is y-intercept. C, positive c is equal to negative 5. Now c is equal to negative 5. That is why we say y-intercept is equal to negative what? 5. Then we said m is equal to negative 1. M is right here. Now here there is negative 1. And that's why m is equal to negative 1. So when determining an equation, you have to make sure that when talking about something, m must be there. And must be the same as this what you have written here. If you find it is different, you got a problem somewhere. So you got to be very careful in solving these questions. So in short, that is the equation now. Y is equal now to negative x, then negative 5. This is an equation. You can see y-intercept negative 5. Then m is equal to negative 1. Simple now. The other question is, find the equation of a straight line through 1, 5 with gradient 5 over 4. Now from here you have x1 and you have y1. which is equal to 1 comma 5. Then you have gradient, which is equal to 5 over 4. So from this question, you don't need to find the gradient, because the gradient is already there. Why should I fight for the gradient while it is there? Now, the point I should use here, I already said, m is equal to 5 over 4. Now, from m is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Kama pasingelikuwepo na slope, ningeitafuta kwanza hii hapa kwa kutumia y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, remember, m is 5 over 4. m is 5 over 4. Is equal now, y is not there. y1 is 5. Then over x minus x1 is 1. Then you cross multiply. After crossing multiplication, then you have this and this one. Then 4 in bracket y minus 5. Then is equal now to 5 in bracket x minus 1. Now you open the bracket. Open the bracket, 4y minus 20 is equal now to 5x minus 5. This is taken to the other side. Then it becomes 4y is equal now to 5x minus 5 plus 20. Collecting the like terms. Now you have 4y is equal now to 5x plus what? 15. Then we must find for the value of y. We divide here by 4. We divide here by 4. We divide here by 4. Then after doing so, you will find, after dividing by 4 both sides, then this cancels. Then you remain with y is equal now to 5x over 4. Then plus 15 over 4. Now this is an equation. That is to say y is equal to mx plus c. Now y-intercept is this one. Slope now is this one. So that is an equation. Now an equation was y is equal now to 5x over 4, then plus 15 over 4. This is what we call it an equation. So in short, the way that we determine an equation depends on the two factors. You should have 1 point and you should have slope. Now, if slope is absent, you definitely use the formula for determining the slope. After you have got the slope, what next? You use the formula that is used to determine the equation of a straight line. So first of all, if you have points, you must find out first the slope or the gradient. After you have got the gradient, it is where now you substitute the question on how to determine the slope, the equations. That is, in short, I would like to say this one. First of all, if now you have points, you have point 1 and y1. This is the first point. And now the second point, x2, y2. Now, if now you want to determine the equation for this one, first of all you find the slope. Slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the value of a slope. After you have got the slope, now you use the concept. For an equation to be calculated, we just use slope is equal to y1 and y minus y1 over x minus x1. If now you have got the slope here, you come and substitute your value here, but you choose one of the points. It is not the principle that you must choose over the first point. You can decide also to choose the second point instead of this one. So don't worry, think that we must use this one. No. You can choose even the second point and you substitute it here and here. So that is something very important. And that's why we say the equation is determined by taking y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If now you want to do it directly, is equal now to y minus y1 over x minus x1. So this is the way we do it. Unaweza kutumia hii njia ya moja kwa moja. Kwamba ukaweka kabisa y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Then, uka substitute value zote. Uta cross multiplication, that's how we get it. So determine the equation of a straight line is very simple if now you can understand. But all in all, understand what is y-intercept, what is x-intercept. X-intercept, I've said it. Y-intercept, we have talked about it.